Oh, hello, good morning. It is Thursday, February 27th, 2020, and the topic of today's discussion is boundaries. I have been having a hard time the last couple days. I worked really hard and business as well, but when it comes to relationships, I've been having a hard time. And I had to really think about like what to talk about. And I realized I've covered most of the other subjects in my other videos. Being your own best friend, depression, love, anxieties, all the topics, they all have to do with what I've been going through. But the topic of today's discussion is boundaries. I feel like it's super important. I feel like it's mainly the reason why I've been struggling and having a hard time. When it comes to boundaries, we really have to take our time and go slow. Because we can it's confusing is what it is. You see a wall and you think there's no getting in, but that's not necessarily the case. Or you see a gate and you think, you're allowed in, you know how to get in now. But the truth is that there's all sorts of walls inside of that gate, Think of a castle. There's walls inside of a castle too. Each room has a wall. All these doors, and that's really how people are too. They're pretty sectional. They're pretty, partitioned. They're weird. They're finicky. My boundaries are. I really try to remove them for people, and I think that's like a gift that I give them, but it turns out a lot of people don't even want that. Uh, I can just open up to someone and start telling them my life story, but the real truth is that a lot of people aren't ready to hear it. They haven't been through what you've been through, so they have no way of relating to your experience, and they just don't really understand just because you're telling them. And because of that, you may be trying to connect, but you're just actually butting up against a wall and not realizing you're at a boundary. I'm in a weird relationship right now. I got someone that I'm dating that, sexually, they're pretty damn open to me, and there's not a lot of boundaries. And if there are boundaries, I don't even really want to go past them. No butt stuff. Um, but then, yet again, fuck, I tried to call them just for the first time. Like, I've only called them like maybe twice in the month that I've known them. And I'm supposed to be like dating them or whatever. I don't know, their best friend, boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever you want to call it. We're supposed to be close. And the second they don't pick up when I call, and then they tell me they're busy instead of just saying I'll call you back, and then I have to ask them to call me back, and then when they do call me back, they act like they want to get off the phone like right away, like less than a couple minutes into a call. I literally felt like I had to pull teeth just to talk to them for 10 minutes. Meanwhile, I have people. I literally have this girl that I've never even met that I just talked to her for about a half an hour today. And she was there for me. She was responsive. She was a great listener. And that's because I guess she was just comfortable doing that. But that girl, if I tried talking sexual with her, I probably would hit a boundary. It's weird, It's weird feeling more intimate to someone that I'm not being intimate at all with than the person I am being intimate with, and they just kind of make me feel like I'm a stranger or whatever. They just basically make me feel like it's just like a fuck buddy type of thing, and that's probably what it is. Um, and that's where you got to learn is like those are the boundaries, and people set boundaries and study them before you just try, invading them or hopping over them or destroying them or whatever. um, and ultimately let people set their own boundaries. You know, you want to get inside someone's castle, you know, let them invite you in and let them make you a guest, and you know, you gotta leave it up to people. Meanwhile, secure your own boundaries. Don't open yourself up too much to someone who's just gonna make you feel like, you know, they didn't care. You're like you're unimportant, unappreciated. It's a terrible feeling. There's a lady named Pia Melody, and she wrote a book and did some tapes on boundaries. And I think it's really important for everyone to to study, you know, healthy boundaries, why to have them, what's good about them, and how to implement them. Here's some quotes on some boundaries. Lack of boundaries invites lack of respect. The boundary to what we can accept is the boundary to our freedom. When we fail to set boundaries and hold people accountable, we feel used and mistreated. Yeah, that's huge. Maybe that's what it is I want to hold people accountable constantly. But in my experience, doing so often comes off as challenging them or you know, having an opinion toward them, and it can tend to push people away. It can tend to make them reinforce their boundaries almost. But I don't want to feel used and mistreated. So the key is to really just be slow and regulate your emotions and speak from the heart, you know, so that the person knows that you're really just trying to say how you feel and that you're not trying to come off as hurt and share that hurt. Boundaries define us. They define what is me and what is not me. A boundary shows me where I end and someone else begins, leading me to a sense of ownership. Knowing what I am to own and take responsibility for gives me freedom. Interesting. I'd almost disagree. I'd almost saying that knowing what I am to own and take responsibility for has enslaved me. I just want to let it all go. I'm not sure. I think that's good on quotes for boundaries. If you have things that are bothering you in life, I'd say just set up some boundaries and put them on the outside of it, you know? Think about you and what you're securing inside your wall, you know, your head, your soul, your body, whatever it is you're keeping safe, and focus on that, and don't let your you know your sanctuary become a junkyard. Uh, that's what happens when we let anything in our boundaries, and I can feel like there's definitely an emptiness inside my thing sometimes, and every time I try to fill that with someone else, I feel like my boundaries have been tested and found wanting. So at this point, I really have to say, uh, know who's okay with what, know what you're okay with, and don't get too comfortable always expecting everything to be so fluid, you know? There is structure and there needs to be structure, and don't get completely angry at that. Try to understand why it is the way it is before you go trying to like create taller walls, wreck down walls, you know, sneak around walls, whatever it is, try to understand the boundaries first. So that's my new goal, is the boundaries have hurt me and affected me. Now I don't really want to just create or destroy them. I really want to start to understand why people want to create and destroy them instead of just doing it. Thanks for watching. I hope you all have a great day. One of the boundaries of this video is I try to keep it short, under 15 minutes. Thank you for watching. We succeeded. Have a great day.